Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I am going to be reacting to VoicePlay's cover of the song Just Sing from Trolls World Tour. This is something they recorded back in May 2020, or rather they released it in May 2020, as a kind of community project, not exactly with their community in the sense of their audience and their fans, but with their collaborators. And my understanding, I did a quick look on their website and saw that this was actually released as a fundraiser for Musicares, which is a charity that was raising money to help musicians in need. And in particular, in this case, they were raising it to help musicians who were impacted by the ongoing effects of COVID-19. And of course, this was in May 2020, when I think most of us thought this was going to be a 6-month thing that would just come and go and we'd all be back to our jobs by the end of 2020, and of course that was not the case. So this is a wonderful thing that they did, and I'm really excited to see what this is all about. I have no idea exactly when this video is coming out. I'm recording it early because somebody said they wanted to discuss this arrangement with me, and I hadn't reacted to it yet. As I record this, I have just released a VoicePlay reaction, and I want to kind of keep my rotation flowing and have different groups coming and going. And while VoicePlay and Home Free and the other a cappella groups are kind of a core part of that, I don't want to focus on them too much. I want to keep everybody interested and keep my channel varied, especially while I'm only able to react to one video a week while I'm busy, which is particularly true right after Disney month as this is coming out. This may come out as a bonus video if I have enough time, or I may release it to fill a gap because I do have some time when I'm going to be away and I need to front load a bit of information. So anyway, regardless, my point is, whenever this comes out, I have no idea what it is. If any contextual information is missing, such as recent donations and things like that, I apologize. It's because at the time I'm recording this, it's in the middle of nowhere. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you haven't been here before. The way I work is I'm going to watch the video uninterrupted in terms of pausing and stopping it, but with some emoting and commentary over the top, and then I will go back and watch it again, and I will pause and stop and analyze and offer what commentary I can in greater detail on the music, the visuals, and anything else that catches my eye. If you're just here for the reaction, the first quarter or so of this video will do the trick. Please do like the video if you enjoy this, subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free to you, means the world to me and really helps to promote my channel. Do hit that notification bell if you want to know when my videos are coming out. I try for 5 PM EST every Friday. Any more than that is a bonus. Unless I'm running a theme month, in which case I'll maybe doing more than that, such as Disney month, which has just passed as I'm recording. And if you would care to, please do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate to support the channel. Alternatively, if you enjoy this video, please head over to musicares.org and donate to support the charity, because that is a very important charity, COVID-19 or not. You know, musicians, we work, I say we, I'm in a different job now, but I still do play music and get paid for it, but it's very much paycheck to paycheck a lot of the time, and musicians and artists of all types were absolutely, you know, really set back in so many different ways as a result of the pandemic. And on top of that, you know, it's a difficult life at the best of times, and if something goes wrong and you have to miss a gig or two, that can be huge for your well-being, your mental health, your financial ability, and many other things. So Musicares is doing wonderful work. In addition, if you would like to support my channel as a result of this video, please put hashtag Musicares in your message that you leave me on Buy Me a Coffee, and 50% of any donation that features that hashtag will be donated to Musicares on your behalf as a group donation sometime in the future. I can't date that because I have no idea when I'm releasing this, and maybe that will just be a long-running thing because it's a wonderful thing to support. Okay, I think that's everything. Without any further delay, this is VoicePlay and their many collaborators singing Just Sing.
Let me hear you sing. Sing it together, louder than ever, ever. Forget
that's so sweet.
everything, just sing like it's what we've been missing. And they're gonna listen, listen. Forget
Their voices are
everything,
great.
just sing.
What a way to start! I love it.
You think you've gotta hide it, oh, but don't keep it on the shelf. Let your ways start moving, watch the way I do it. See me do it like nobody else. Oh.
If we sing it all together, it's louder than you say. Everybody's looking, watch the way we do it, 'cause we do it like nobody.
I love how they're using themselves to support the soloists. This is great.
If you got it, can't deny it. It's waiting for you already, you know.
Oh,
That you do
oh,
it like
gorgeous.
nobody else. Just sing, sing it together, louder than ever, forget everything.
Hear ya.
Oh, hi Tim.
Right here where you're standing.
I've been standing on the ground.
The walls are caving in.
But
my lips are moving with the soul. I put it to it. And you never heard it done like this. Let me hear you sing. Wag mong pigilan at labanan. Parinig ng tinig mo. Si no tienes, no lo niegues. Te quiero oír cantar. It's waiting for you already, you know.
Oh, this is fantastic. I'm just, I'm just captivated by this. It's so good.
Forget everything, just sing like it's what we've been missing. And they're gonna listen, listen, forget everything.
I said a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go,
I
everybody.
love the variety in the visuals.
Just
Let me sing you sing.
I love the variety of different voices and talents we're getting.
For you already, you know. Hey, you do it like nobody else.
Woohoo! Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, this is fun.
Sing it together, louder than ever, ever. Forget everything, just sing.
Oh, that's wonderful. Great
Hey
quote.
everyone, thanks so much for watching this video and be sure to share. We're donating the AdSense and the streaming royalties from this video to Music Cares. They're an organization that's providing much needed assistance to musicians during this pandemic. Every view and every stream helps, but if you want to help out even more, click down in the description below and check out their link. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you soon.
Oh, that's so good. That's really sweet. I love what they did with that video. There was something very, very kind of celebratory about it. And I don't know about anyone else, but I can remember May. My wife and I adapted one of her solo shows very quickly for a digital performance that we did in March, maybe 2 weeks. I'd been starting to learn streaming for a board game stream I was doing. And I had the equipment and all that, and so we got a streaming performance out really quickly, and by May, fatigue was setting in for everybody. We did another stream then, the audience was way smaller, it was, you know, we were tired, they were tired, everybody was starting to feel the fatigue of both the pandemic having run on for, you know, months rather than weeks or days, and equally of being online all the time, and it was a really tough time. And having something like this come out then, like I wish I'd known about VoicePlay back then. I would have loved to have seen this right then. It would have been such a pick-me-up. And I love how they used such a variety of voices. You had high voices, you had low voices, multiple vocal percussionists, which is awesome. I noticed I wasn't sort of super focusing on who the people I didn't recognize were, because I'm going to do that this time. But I did see Rockapella flash up, which is another group I haven't yet hit, but I do want to on this channel. I've heard of them. I think I may have heard a couple of their songs. Anyway, that's by the by. But they're coming to the channel at some point later this year. And it's just so ebullient and you know, happy and uplifting, and it's great. And that's not just in the song, that's in the way that they've done the visuals as well. And again, you know, this is early on where people are still kind of putting stuff like this together. Now, they'd been making videos for a while, sure, but this, you know, it's very much, if you showed this to somebody who didn't know what they did and, you know, just saw the video, they could probably guess with the context of what's happened over the past 5 years when this was released, because it is very much of its time and they've done it so well. This is fantastic. I'm going to do my usual dive down into the credits for a second. So arrangement and video by Lane, audio mix by Ed, production manager Kathy, all the things we expect. That makes complete sense. I love how well Lane has arranged for so many different voices. That's great. Like, bringing all of these voices together is fantastic. And yeah, then there's obviously thanks to the patrons. Okay, yeah, I was just checking to see if there was any other info. But yeah, this is brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Let's go back and have a look at it in more detail. Oops, I did that again. And I will offer a little more commentary this time. I love so much that they have put in the captions who everybody is, because you don't necessarily... I recognise maybe half a dozen faces, but I don't know who a lot of the other people are, and that makes it so easy to enjoy the video without feeling like you have to, especially because there's so many people, you know, have a time code as to when everybody appeared, things like that. This was just made so easy to watch. And I really appreciate that. Okay, sorry about that. Not quite sure what happened, but a breaker flipped and I lost most of my lights. Fortunately, not the recording so far. Anyway, yes, so going back to the top of this, and let's see what's what.
Let me hear you sing. Sing it together, louder than ever.
So I love that straight away we have the closeness of VoicePlay's sort of extended family. So this, of course, I reacted to the Oogie Boogie song already, this being Sandy Claus's daughter and Jeff's niece. That's delightful. Also, what a voice! And we're about to get another one. These two are so talented, especially for such a young age. The clarity in their voices is astonishing.
Never forget everything, just sing like it's what we've been missing. And they're gonna listen, forget everything, just sing.
I mean, what a way to start this thing. It's adorable, it's really good, and it's just, it passes off the message of this song very quickly. I love that. Also, you know, you can see they're just doing this off microphones and, you know, recording themselves however they can, which, of course, is another thing that is a product of the pandemic. We got really good at improvising, putting media out, which is great. I love it. And I love that, as I say, we have that extended family being brought in so many different ways throughout this video. And it's such a lovely one to start. Yeah, I really like that. Incidentally, if you see me ducking and weaving a little bit whenever there's subtitles on screen, it's because the placement of my microphone right now is slap bang in front of them, so I can't necessarily see everything that's been written down. Just going to go back a few seconds and then carry on.
Listen, and they're gonna listen, forget everything, just sing. You think you've gotta hide it, oh.
I heard a bubble. This is further proof of my continuing belief that Lane is both a Carrot Lord and, I don't know, the Bubble Duke. That's not going to take off, is it? But bubbles all over the place. I was going to stop anyway, but literally I heard that as I was doing it. Such a great introduction to this. I love that you have that just sing, and all they're doing is singing. And then you get this lovely intro from Lane and Jeff that then forms out into the full group plus Rachel. It's a great way to bring this in because all anybody is doing in this is singing. Vocal percussion is a form of singing. Really, it's producing noise with your mouth. You're just using a different set of tools inside your throat and what have you to actually create that sound. But ultimately, it's a form of singing, right? I say that in case the beatboxing and vocal community wants to prove me wrong in some way, but I don't think that's far out for me to say. This is great. Also, I love Lane's background. You sort of get hints into people's lives with these early pandemic videos before people had green screens and, in my case, a blanket to kind of disguise what's going on behind. But it makes it something that's very informal. Everybody has their own background. There's no dress code here. There's just show up and have a good time and sing for a good cause. That's great.
Just sing. You think you've gotta hide it. Oh, don't keep it on the shelf. Let your ways start moving.
I really, really like what's going on here. So we start off with this very simple ostinato thing from Jeff, along with the rhythm from Lane. And then when the boys come in, like this is a VoicePlay video, right? Ultimately, they're the core of it, even though it's the guests who do the majority of the solo work. And you get these two simple things. The rhythm section of this song that is consistent throughout and that you need in any song, or most songs. And then the chorus, the trio that we have here of Janan and Earl and Ellie, you just have this, oh, very simple. It's not a lot. And it's great because it means that we're introduced to each of the soloists as they come in a way that isn't distracting away from them. And then when we do get to points where things are fuller, or we get trios of soloists, or we get this, that, and the other going on later, we know who everybody is, or at least, you know, we've met them. And it's not a new face coming in under something complicated or in amongst harmony where it's difficult to differentiate who they are and which line they're singing. And that's a really nice touch. That I can't remember if that might be different for a couple of people later on down the line once we're getting towards the end of the song, because let's face it, there's a lot of people in this. But it's just a very effective way of doing things. Back on that one more time. Oh, and I also love that we have those two. Oh, they're very simple. And then we have this thing that I compliment them on so much, which is this opening to the wow, and we go back down again. And in that moment, the color changes as well in the background, and we go from this simple background into some of the display of color and light that we're going to get throughout the video. Really smart choice.
You think you've gotta hide it. Oh, don't keep it on the shelf. Let your ways start moving. Watch the way I do it. See me do it like nobody else. Oh.
If we sing it.
That's great. I really like this. And because they're keeping it so simple, the message of the song, which is encouragement, which is, you know, maybe sort of push yourself out of your comfort zone or let loose that thing that you keep bottled up inside you, comes through so clearly because the focus is on that soloist. Visually, they have the biggest box. They have the only box that is there the whole time. Well, I guess Jeff was there the whole time, actually. But, like, they're focused the whole time, whereas if the group isn't singing, they'll drop out at points. It keeps the focus on the person who is singing the words to the song and therefore pushes all of that to the forefront. And then I love that we come to a different singer. We have a different background for them, but we also get a different background for the video. So it's keeping things visually interesting the whole way through this. So here, Mikal, please feel free to correct me, I have no idea. Kilgore, so Motown the Musical, Book of Mormon. Lots of very cool, are these Broadway? Hair, Wiz Live. Oh, I'd love to see the Wiz. Jesus Christ Superstar Live. Original VoicePlay. Oh, so this is when they were 425, which became VoicePlay later on. Okay. I have read a lot of the history of this, but I haven't really had the chance to kind of connect the dots yet. So nice to have a couple of slight looks into it at this moment, just to sort of see what's going on. Sorry about that, just had to take a quick phone call. Of course, you know, I try and keep things as quiet as I can while I'm reacting, but sometimes things happen. So I just jumped back a few seconds. Let's run into that section again.
Oh.
If we sing it all together.
Nice, nice, nice. So a couple of things here I like. I like that they're bringing in this kind of call and response thing that's going on here. But what's interesting is that the harmony being provided, or the sort of counter melody being provided by the three, Jane, Ellie, and Earl, they're singing in unison. They're not providing a 3-part harmony or a 2-part harmony here. They're just giving a counter melody that works perfectly well with the soloist, is keeping this sparse. And I think that's the big thing. By having this sort of Spartan arrangement at the beginning, it allows them to keep building throughout this section. Also, I love the riffing that we're getting from Michael here. I hope that pronunciation is correct. I'm going to stick with it as I've got to pick one. I apologize if not. As I say, please do correct me.
If we sing it all together, if we sing it all,
even something like that, like he's now providing sort of a counter melody to them. And you get this interesting give and take between what they're doing. They start singing something at the end of his section where he's got a break and a rest in the music, and so he offers this little riff over the top of them. It's a really, really nice exchange of energy going on.
if we sing it all together, if we sing it all, it's louder than you say.
I love that. Da, 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 da. It's a really nice descent there. Gives it a little bit of questioning as to the tonality, where we're going with this, without taking us completely into a different key, of course. It's just a really nice little kind of choice of movement at that point in time, as we're moving into the next vocalist, of course, Tony, but also just kind of capping off what we're actually being offered by Michael here, in a way that kind of keeps us ready for something else. Like, it gives us that sense that we're going somewhere else, because it's not resolved. It's left open for the next person to come in. Really, really good arrangement.
Oh, it's louder than you say. Everybody's looking, watch the way we do it, 'cause we do it like nobody else. Let me hear you sing.
Now that's an interesting one too, because we get a completely different style. And this is great. Everyone's getting something slightly different. With Rachel, we had that, wow, I don't remember the notes they were singing, and then just that one kind of wow, like the heavier sound. It was quite bare. We get a little bit more almost, but we get a different kind of interaction with Michael. And now with Tony, we're losing the three. We're getting just Lane and Jeff. Then we switch to Earl and Ellie. Like, the interactions that we're getting are unique to the individual. It's a really interesting choice. And again, we've got this different background now. What I quite like about this is, because we're losing a couple of the panels, but we have something interesting going on behind them. It's a more full background than we had with Rachel. Not quite perhaps as busy, I don't think. I mean, yes, it's clearer, but I feel like this one is a little bit more fragmented, whereas this is giving us more of a defined pattern, kind of. It's fascinating what they've chosen to do with this. And it's, I feel like this deliberation has gone into which background goes where. And we have this negative space filled up by colour in a way that doesn't distract from what we're looking at. Like, I don't find myself staring at that right side of the screen, but it still keeps it interesting. It still keeps it part of the video. Kind of cool. Of course, Tony, very familiar with. I've seen a couple of videos with him. I am going to be bringing Patty Cake. I've had a few people ask about this recently. Patty Cake videos will be coming to the channel soon. Just a lot to get through at the moment, but I will be getting to them.
Everybody's looking, watch the way we do it, 'cause we do it like nobody else. Let me hear you sing.
That's also interesting, because I think that's the first time we have people singing who aren't visible, because Jane and Lef? Yeah, great, David. Lane and Jeff are both contributing at the end of that. They're just not on screen at that point in time. Now here we bring in Darian Yancey, sings backup for Kirk Franklin. 10? I'm not sure I get the 10 reference. Oh, is that a group maybe that... or is it the Kirk Franklin 10?
Don't you stop, 'cause we do it like nobody else.
Right, and we're going to intercut Darian with Emily Wilkins, who I have already seen because she was one of the two, along with Rachel Potter, who joined VoicePlay for the Wicked medley, which was my very first video on this channel.
Let me hear you sing. Don't you stop it, don't you fight it. You let me hear you sing. If you got it, can't deny it.
And now we're getting this much fuller, more involved arrangement already. It's still bare enough that we're being easily introduced to the people that are coming in, but there's just more happening because we're moving through the song. We need it to go somewhere. I really like the fact that Darian and Emily are kind of duetting with each other here, where you have this kind of call to action of "let me hear you sing" from Darian, and then Emily fills in the next lyric. That's a really nice choice. And I want to listen a little bit more to the harmony that's going on here.
Do it, cause we do it like nobody else.
Let me hear you sing. Don't you stop it, don't you fight it. You let me hear you sing. If you got it, can't deny it.
Interesting, I like what they're doing. So they're doing this thing that VoicePlay often does. It's really, really good for a cappella groups, of kind of cutting up and breaking up the lyrics that are being sung by the soloists to create enunciation, to create points of kind of percussive onset, fricative onset, sibilant onset. These are all, you know, a fricative is a sibilant is a s, the different sounds that you can create. We're getting texture. That's the biggest thing. We're getting vocal texture from them now. We're not just getting oohs and ahs, things like that. We're actually getting words coming, but they're words that are being sung by the soloist. And so even though they might not sing them at the same time, it's not like we're getting a whole separate lyric. Even if it isn't, you know, if the phrase, you know, this is a lyric to a song is just this lyric to a song or something like that, that's dumb. But you get what I'm going for. We know what those words are, and so the brain isn't distracted trying to find out what's going on. It might hear what's going on and kind of, you know, you go and explore and see what's what, but it's easier to subsume into the general focus point than it is if something completely different is happening to the sides of the screen. Really cool.
Do it, cause we do it like nobody else.
Let me hear you.
Oh, cool thing I just heard there from Jeff. We actually sit on the second for a moment before we go down. There's a hanging second before the tonic resolution where he goes dum dum. So rather than a 2-5-1, it's a 5-2-1. He goes dum 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 down there right at the end.
Do it, cause we do it like nobody else.
Let me hear you.
It's nice because it kind of, we know we're leading. Oh, and then he falls off at the end. That's cool. We know we're leading somewhere else, and it just gives us a moment for the chords to sit before they resolve, even as we come off what would otherwise be a perfect cadence of 5-1.
You sing. Don't you stop it, don't you fight it. You let me hear you sing. If you got it, can't.
Love the little build-up of the bell chord and the harmony there as we get the panels coming in as each person is singing. This is a nice intro video, even while it has, you know, 25 different people coming in and joining. In some ways, it's actually quite good at showing off what VoicePlay does, because each of them is getting their second to be seen when they are doing their thing. Now, we get that in all of their main videos with camera focus, but if you want to sit there and kind of identify vocal quality within a harmony, this is quite a good video for it. Something like Nothing Else Matters is also a good one, because you have that bit at the beginning where you're just seeing them as they are singing. It's a very effective video style for, you know, choosing who's on screen and when. I also like that we've swapped places now. We have the rhythm section on the right, the harmony on the left. Have they actually mixed it that way too?
Cause we do it like nobody else.
Let me hear you sing. Don't you stop it, don't you fight it. You let me hear.
No, the group is still fairly central. There might have been a slight shift. Like, certainly when we just had Earl and Ellie with Tony, they were mixed according to where they were. So Tony's coming in both ears. Earl was coming... Of course, I'm seeing myself, like, the screen is in reverse. Tony's coming in from over here, which is wrong for me, because, anyway. And Ellie's coming in for... Sorry, Earl is coming in for over here, and Ellie's coming in for over here, because that's where they are on the screen. That's really effective. The group as a whole, they're mixing a little bit more centrally, which is fine. You know, it makes complete sense. You don't want to have too much play Otherwise, the sort of audio almost supersedes what's going on within the actual quality and sound that they're producing. I love this heart. This is so cool. They've chosen such awesome backgrounds. Like, there's nothing conventional. It's not like they've gone on and picked the first 5, Zoom backgrounds or whatever. Obviously, this isn't Zoom, but you know what I mean. They've actually chosen vibrant, kind of upbeat, colourful things to go in behind all of this, and I really like that.
Don't you fight it, you let me hear you sing. You got it, can't deny it.
Oh, okay, 10 is here for Emily as well. So do Darian and Emily sing together? So 10 must be a group, I guess? Yeah, okay, I'll piece this together at some point, but let me know.
You let me hear you sing. You got it, can't deny it. It's sweet.
Oh, that's such a nice drop out there. As we go into the next individual, here we've got Sarah Vella. I love that we're coming into that and we get the drop out of the rhythm section. So nicely placed.
You got it, can't deny it.
And it's on Let Me Hear You. And I really like the placement of all of this. Like the Let Me Hear You, get this beautiful harmony coming from the trio while the bass isn't there, which is nice because it pulls attention onto the trio a little bit, which is always nice to have a bit of focus on everybody. And I like that we land on the you, and of course they've chosen, it makes complete sense both musically and lyrically, on you. It's Let Me Hear You, this new person who we are presenting to you, which is Sarah. Again, lovely background. And here we go with somebody new.
It's sweet.
Vocal rush, okay. Oh, and in Wrecking Ball with VoicePlay. Fair enough. Lots of videos being mentioned here that are either on my list and, in and amongst many, many, many. And it's just proving that there are a whole bunch more that I don't know. I don't think Wrecking Ball's come up. I didn't realize they'd done it. Unless you did recommend it to me, in which case I apologize. It's lost in my list somewhere. I really need to organize it. But it's fun because I get to see a little bit of all of these people and know that they worked with VoicePlay at some point, which I love.
You got it, can't deny it. It's waiting for you already.
Oh, that chord there is beautiful. There's nothing unusual about it. It's just really, really well structured. And this is one of the things that goes into good arranging. If I want a C major chord, I could just use the middle C of a piano, which is C4. I could do C4, E, G. And that's a perfectly normal triad. Or I could go up, do E, G, C. That's perfectly normal as well. I happen to be particularly partial to doing a C3, G3, E4. So we spread the chord out a little bit more. It sounds different. Nothing about that statement is any different for a vocal group. Who you give each note of the chord to. Is it the root note of the chord that's on the bottom, or are we doing what's called an inversion, where you pick one of the other chords? So if I do E, G, C rather than C, E, G, that's called a first inversion, because we've taken those notes, gone up one step, and now E is on the bottom, so that's a first inversion. Is that what we've got? Do we have doubling? Are two people singing the same note, 2 octaves apart? Are Jeff and Earl singing the same note, and we're 2 pianos apart? It's all, voicing is so important, and Lane and Jeff, when they do their arrangements for this group, have voicing down pat. I almost said down patty cake, and I stopped myself, and then I said it anyway. Sorry.
It's waiting for you already.
And it's the motion too. Let me hear you. They lead into it so beautifully, especially because we break the chord, we go down the chord, and then go back up to hit the new note that's coming in. It's gorgeous.
It's waiting for you already.
Oh, also, sorry.
It's waiting for you already.
One more time. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch one thing.
It's waiting for you.
Yeah, we get this very subtle hint from Jeff too, because he comes in, we get bum bum bum, and he hits the bum a half beat before we get the ooh. the new note coming in. It's these subtle things. It's such a nice hint that change is coming. And it smooths that change even more. Especially because they're not just going from you. Like, we're going down and coming back up. There's a bit more motion to it. And we have this beautiful smoothing effect of Jeff hitting that lower note before that change happens.
Already you know that you do it like nobody else. Just
Oh, that's really interesting. This chord sequence here, the harmony they've put under this section is fascinating.
it's waiting for you. Already you know that
Dum, dum. So he's gone down there to the 7th. We've got the minor 7th, which is the note. Boom, boom. He's hit that note now that Ellie was singing a minute. I think, was it Ellie or was it Earl? One of them was singing that note I was just focusing on. We're now hearing that from Jeff down the bottom. This is an inversion because this isn't a chord where that is the root note, I don't think. He says with some confidence.
it's waiting for you. Already you know that you do it.
No, like it doesn't. It's not. That's not a chord based on that root note. I don't have a piano here. I've said this before. I don't actually have room for one in my reaction space, so I can't figure out exactly what it is. But I'm pretty sure that is not the root note. When it's so far apart, it's actually slightly harder to hear. But it seems pretty clear to me that it's not. And I love that what we then get is it then resolves back to the root. Boom, 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 and we're back in the tonic in the bass at the end of this section. And it's just such an interesting movement because the bass can drive what we hear more than we realize. I think it's one of the reasons. I mean, obviously, you know, VoicePlay fans on the whole love Jeff because he's just such an extraordinary bass. But your ear is also slightly drawn to the bass at all times because the bass kind of cues you in to everything else you're listening to. If the bass is producing a note, instrument, voice, or otherwise, if the bass is producing a note that is not part of the chord above it, it is telling us we are hearing dissonance. It's kind of giving us that clue. And it almost clashes a little bit less in a way than dissonance where it's sort of, you know, somebody's singing this note and the next person is singing only a half tone or a semitone above it. When they're both higher, it clashes more because we don't have that cue coming from somewhere else to tell us that that's what we're hearing. It's just a really, really clever bit of arranging there.
Waiting for you. Already you know that you do it like nobody else. Just sing.
I love this confidence that we're getting. Everyone so far, we've got this projection of confidence, this projection of you can do it, just do it. And it's such a great, like, that's what this video needs, that's what this song needs to succeed, and it's just fantastic. I love Sarah's voice. It's a great center point where you have Jeff underneath, you have the trio above, and just this anchor in the center, which they're all providing, but now we're getting more full texture. It's all the more important that that happens, and so that stands out as a particularly good moment of it. And now Earl gets a moment because, you know, it's great. He's there as a member of VoicePlay.
That you do it like nobody else. Just sing. Sing it together. Louder than ever. Forget everything.
Let me hear ya.
And what's so great is we go from a member of VoicePlay to not a member of VoicePlay, who's then going to have this kind of bass battle with member of VoicePlay. So now we get Tim and Jeff, and the facial expressions between the two of them here. Lovely to have Tim on. If you're watching this and you don't know, Tim is, as it says here, sings bass for Home Free. Another fantastic a cappella group. Plenty of reactions on my channel already as well. They are also awesome. But yeah, Earl here, so lovely to come. The other thing they've done, which is really nice, is there's subtle adjustments of timbre. So we come out of this lovely voice that Sarah's got, and then we jump up, and we go to a different, higher voice quality for Earl. And of course, Earl has this lovely high register, and we hear it beautifully here, sung very, you know, it's a very plain melody, but it's just so effective sung where he's placing it. It's really good.
Just sing it together, louder than ever.
Because I think he's just taken over the same note. It's the same pitch, but because his voice quality is different, you know, it does so very, very smoothly while giving us something different to listen to. It's really nicely put together. Now, I was going back on that actually because I wanted to listen to the harmonies. Let's see what they're doing here.
Sing it together, louder than ever, forget everything.
I love that. You get these really solid notes coming from Jane and Ellie, and this interesting bass line again from Jeff. I want to go back and listen to that too, because it's just where he's moving in this is really cool.
Nobody else, just sing it together, louder than ever.
It's that same move, but instead of going down to that seventh, he goes up and closes that gap, so we don't have that huge drop. What's interesting is both times it's going from the dum, 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 and your brain almost wants it to go dum. We go down to the fourth there, but instead we get the minor seventh instead. And it's nice because it slightly subverts what you expect to be coming. And this time we do get the fourth. So we've got dum, 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 dum. So we go somewhere slightly different, leads really nicely into the next section, but I like the fact that we have that change. What you expect to happen happens the second time, not the first, and it still doesn't quite happen the way that you expect it to. It's great.
Let me hear ya.
I've been right here where he's standing,
I've been standing on the ground.
and the walls are caving in.
From my lips,
This is great. Now there's a couple of really cool things about this. Firstly, Jeff's note when Tim comes in.
Let me hear ya.
Right down there. It's I love that it's like it's a quality, it's a texture at the bottom of this arrangement. Is it a note? I'm not 100% sure. It's so quiet in the arrangement. But is it also a growl at Tim for coming in and being a bass on Jeff's turf? And then we get this lovely back and forth between them.
I've been right here where he's standing,
I've been standing on the ground.
and the walls are caving in.
from my lips.
I love that. And you get the two of them, like these lovely rich notes from them both. Tim not showing off yet, that's coming. And I love the sly eyebrow raise.
Hear ya.
I've been right.
And of course, Home Free and VoicePlay competed against each other in the sing-off. So, you know, it says down here, you know, sing-off season 4 winners. That is the voice. I'm right about that, right? I'm not being an idiot. No, of course they are, because that's why they did Survivor, which is the other lovely tie-in, which is Honey La Rochelle, who is coming in here with the vibrantly blue hair, was in Survivor, which I reacted to on this channel, and that was a battle that was originally supposed to be on the sing-off between Home Free and VoicePlay. So her coming in while these two are taking center stage is very appropriate.
Here where he's standing,
I've been standing on the ground.
And I love that we're getting more instrumental qualities now from Jay, Earl, and Ellie. This kind of ba 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 ba. Like, it's a little bit less singery and a little bit more instrumental, and it's kind of a really cool support for these two kind of bass powerhouses going at it.
Let me hear ya.
I've been right here where he's standing,
I've been standing on the ground.
and the walls
I also love that. I've been right here where you're standing. I'm just on the ground, mate. There's a kind of, a riposte from Jeff at that point. I love it. Lane's kind of like, uh-oh, what's happening? The expressions in this are brilliant.
are caving in.
I just noticed that the grey little streak there at the top of Tim's hair. I hadn't noticed that before. Is that something that's just there in this video? Does he often have that? I just ask because I've had grey hair since I was 13, but also it's I just love the kind of highlight at the front. It's always a cool look. Enjoyed that ever since the first X-Men movie came out, and they did it so well with Anna Paquin as Rogue. Total sidetrack there. Where did that even come from? Did I have too many cups of coffee today or not enough? I've no idea.
From my lips, I'm moving with the
Ah, I love that Honey comes in with this awesome little riff and then takes center stage away from them. It's cool. This is the first time we've sort of had someone interrupt. And this is the thing, even this far in, we're probably halfway through the video because Lane chats at the end. And we're still bringing in new ways of introducing new people. And there's still so many more people, coming in. I'm seeing more VoicePlay collaborations too. Were they all in the sing-off era, or have there been some since? I don't know. I've seen Survivor, but I haven't seen the other two. I think she was she was chosen to be with them during the Survivor? Not Survivor, the sing-off. I still haven't seen. I've seen like clips of the sing-off, but I haven't actually seen an episode to know exactly how it works. But anyway, I know she was sort of together with them during that. So I'm guessing these are probably from that era, but maybe she's come back since. I'm not sure.
So I from my lips, I'm moving with the soul. From my lips.
Nice. I didn't catch that until that second. The panning. Again, I need to mirror myself. The panning is over here when she appears in the corner, and then even though it's a snap visual for her to suddenly be in the center, the pan slides into the center and hits center as she takes center screen. That's great. That is such smart audio. Because if that wasn't mixed that way, it's such a small thumbnail, it lets you know where it is. You don't find yourself distracted looking for it. You know exactly where it is because the audio is mixed to tell you where it is. Very, very well done.
And the walls are caving in.
From my lips, I'm moving with the soul. I put it to it, and you never heard it done like this.
That's so cool, and I love that we get that. And then we go from, we've just had this, down in the bootsness from Jeff and Tim. We get this break in of a higher voice singing something, and then the harmony. Like, I'm just going to go back for 1 second.
From my lips, I'm moving with the soul. I put it to it.
I love that we get that. That's a really nice, rich line, actually. Not the notes they were singing, but you get the drift. We get that lovely motion. We get this increase. We get them moving towards where we're going to go. We're going to go to a higher register. They have this lovely chordal progression moving up, and then we break into 3 female voices.
And you never heard it done like this.
That's such a smart decision because I can't speak today. It prepares us for what's coming. It's just a really, really nice move, that. And then we go on to our next singer. Again, cool background. Like, I love what they're doing with this. It's just keeping... I'm sort of having to catch myself and go, did I check the background yet? No, I didn't. This is awesome. It's nice. It's inviting, it's colourful, it's uplifting, it's everything the song is, but it's also, I'm having to check in with myself, which means it's not distracting me. It's great.
And you never heard it done like this.
So, top auditioner. VoicePlay collaboration, Shape of You, No Diggity. Top auditioner. No idea. Please fill me in. But as Matthew comes in again, we get this really cool kind of like wireframe look. No idea what's going on here, but it's awesome. It's a little busier. This one I did find a little bit more distracting when we were watching through it, but it's very cool.
And you never heard it done like this.
And what's... So I promise, Matthew, I will let you sing. Let me hear you sing. I like there that he's coming in kind of roughly where Emily was. We have this nice... not Emily, goodness me. Honey. We get this nice thing where the other two are bracketing where Honey is singing, and Matthew comes in that bracket. It's a really nice choice because it's central to the arrangement, and it lets that entrance, as another interruption, be much smoother than it would have been if it was either at the top or down at the bottom, I think. One more time.
And you never heard it done like this.
And of course, now we break in here. We get VJ Rosales, Philharmonic NBC's The Sing-Off Season 4, Pitch Perfect 2, The Late Late Show with James Corden, and on Talk Dirty with VoicePlay. Very cool. I love that we get this. Now, I believe from some discussion that was had, is VJ singing in Tagalog? Do I have that correct? I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think that's what I read. I was trying to avoid spoilers for this before I reacted to it, so I only saw that in passing. But...
Never heard it done like this. Let me hear you sing. Wag mong pigilan at labanan. Parinig ng tinig mo.
And I love that we've got a moment here of somebody singing in a different language. Doesn't take away from the song at all. At all. Of course it doesn't. We've still got this lovely uplifting tone. It fits in perfectly. It doesn't feel like we've broken away. I love that we're getting the opportunity here for somebody to sing in what I presume is their first language. I don't know for sure. I'm making a guess there. But regardless, it's really nice to have that. And I love what we've got going on from VoicePlay here. It's a really nice support for the line that we're actually getting from VJ here. Lovely bum 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 bum. So while VJ's got this bum 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 bum, they're lifting that up by supporting it with a rising line underneath. It's such good arrangement. And then you get this another beautiful background here. I love, we get Adriana here singing in Spanish. I know she has done, so Frozen 2, more stuff since. I have seen her name in the, VoicePlay featuring in several YouTube videos that I have not seen yet, and also the shorts. I know there are some shorts that have come up where I've seen her name as well. So, fairly regular contributor now, obviously has done more since this was done. But again, we get a lovely... we get someone singing in another tongue that is in no way taking away from what's going on here. It's beautifully incorporated. Yeah, that's really, really great. And I love that, again, we have this kind of transition here going from this section into Elizabeth's section where we get a little bit of a more kind of broken rhythm coming from the VoicePlay here, and then we go into that section where we're going to go into that lovely chord sequence again, and it smooths out, and we're just getting this shift with each different person where we get something slightly different going on underneath. The fact that they're maintaining that throughout this so consistently is excellent. Lovely too that she finishes up and right up there, and you get this beautifully resolved chord underneath. She's not singing the fifth as a root of the fifth chord. She's singing the fifth as a highlight over a tonic. That's beautiful right there. Again, voicing, perfect. You have this lovely single note sitting on the fifth of the chord, just sailing out above such a calm, gentle, and secure tonic underneath. It's really nicely done. That's lovely. I love... This is a really nice background, actually. Interesting, because this is kind of wireframey, but I don't find it as distracting as the one that was behind VJ. I feel like that one, for me at least, was just a bit of a miss, visually speaking. It pulled my eye away. And I know, you had Matthew come in and then VJ pops up, but my eye was already on the background because it was so much of the center... that's it, too. It was so much of the center of the screen before VJ came in. I think they could have done with bringing Matthew in center and then dropping him away and having VJ come up so that we didn't focus on the background at all. Anyway, that's such a minor nitpick, and it's only because everything else stands in as, despite the fact that it's very colourful and very neon in this case and kind of bright and vibrant, it doesn't draw attention. So it's just, the consistency otherwise is so solid. And of course, at this point in time, I'm seeing Elizabeth mentioned here, Voices of Liberty, etc., etc., etc. But of course, I've seen her. My introduction to Elizabeth, which I have seen, was in the Hall of the Mountain King. which was utterly wonderful. And it's really cool to see her do something else here, and I didn't realize she was part of the Frozen 2 medley as well. I'm looking forward to getting to that at some point in time. And now, of course, back to Tim.
It's waiting for you already, you know.
Let you do it like nobody else.
And then we get the drop. As soon as Tim came in, I was expecting that, because especially once he started kind of playing off against Jeff, I was like, come on, where's... Tim's not trying here, and then we get it right there, and I love the little show-off comment, of course. But I love that drop. That's such a confident drop from him. We know he can do it. Sometimes, the way Tim sings, sometimes his bass is a little bit more... it's not as forefront of the arrangement. Here, of course, he's the soloist. Of course it's going to be big. And that's just gorgeous. Just that boom, straight down. So, very, very confident, very bold, to the front. I love hearing that. Anyway, I want to analyze this harmony. That's what I was coming back for. And then I'm all over the place today, sorry.
It's waiting for you already, you know.
So we're getting something different here to when this kind of figure came up the last time around, which is also really nice. We're keeping the harmony moving. It would have been very easy to use this as an anchor point where you got the same thing as the last time, because we're coming back to that familiar kind of section of the song, and the fact they've chosen to do something different this time. So this was where they were doing the ooh stuff that I spent a while on earlier. They're going higher this time. We've got a slightly different chord sequence. It's really well put together.
It's waiting for you already, you know.
Let you do it like nobody else.
And actually, I didn't catch that. Jeff also gives Tim space. He doesn't sing the fourth note of his sequence. He does the and he goes up this time instead of going down, which he did last time. And then the I think it was a little harder to hear because Tim. And then he stops. He doesn't sing the final tonic. He lets Tim take it, which is so nice because he clears the frequency range for Tim. One of the reasons why, you know, if you have a band on stage with 3 different guitars playing simultaneously, but they're all playing close enough together, you start not to hear them because they're all occupying the same space in sound frequency. It's like light. I think people can visualize light a little more easily than sound, but it's fundamentally the same thing. We all know that red light sits at one end of the light spectrum and blue light sits at the other end, so infrared's off. I think it's the other way around. Whichever way it is, infrared's off one end of the scale, UV's off the other end of the scale. Sound is kind of the same. You know, one is the bass end, one is the treble end, and if everyone is sitting closely together, you start not to hear anything because it's all kind of sound mush. There is no way that would be the case here between Jeff and Tim, as we heard already. They're good at their timbres and their qualities are different enough we would be able to pick them out, but Tim's drop is emphasized because Jeff gets out the way. He doesn't sing that last note, which means the entire bass section is given over to that drop. That's brilliant.
It's waiting for you already, you know.
Let you do it like nobody else.
I mean, everybody drops, but it's interesting that Jeff, like, he actually drops even before that. You can see the smile on his face. Like, I did not hear him sing that final note, so he just gives that space. Now we hear Anthony Gargiula hasn't collaborated with VoicePlay, but we want him to. Fair. His voice is amazing.
Let you do it like nobody else.
I love that too. That what? This is a great thing. The visuals do what the sound is telling us they should. They drop away, they come back in, so do the visuals. This is also smart.
Let you do it like nobody else.
Sing it together, louder than ever. Forget everything, just sing like you.
And I like there we get another different backing. We get this pattern from them where they're singing these sort of 3 and it's just this nice thing because it's giving Anthony so much space to play. He's got a beautiful voice, and I really like this backing that they've chosen for him.
Sing it together, louder than ever, ever. Forget everything, just sing.
That's so clean too. Just sing. That little run there is very, very clean. Yeah, definitely here. And now, this is the thing. This is May 2020. Has Anthony collaborated with them since? Question mark. Let me know. I don't know. Hopefully he does, because I can see him doing some really cool things with them.
Like it's what we've been missing.
So John Pinto, Book of Mormon, VoicePlay collaboration, It Ain't Me. Okay, there's another one I haven't seen yet.
Forget everything, just sing. Like it's what we've been missing. And they're gonna listen.
Now here's an interesting thing. I just noticed this. I was going to comment on something else. I'll come back to it in a second. But notice that at the beginning, at least, they carry on the accompaniment that they were doing with Anthony into what John's doing here. So they're doing the same accompaniment. The background doesn't change either. It changes color. It shifts through a couple of colors to get to this green. But they're keeping the same animation, which they haven't really done as much previously.
Ever forget everything,
Consistency.
just sing. Like it's what we've been missing. And they're gonna listen. Forget everything.
That's so nice too. You get that Earl comes in way up. It's a really nice touch that he's up there. It kind of, because John is occupying a range where if he did that an octave lower, again, we'd have that closeness of frequency. This is one thing. I keep talking about breadth and space in sort of the chordal arrangement and the voicings in VoicePlay. And I think this is kind of one of the things I'm getting at. It's more obvious in this particular song and arrangement is they are good at getting out of each other's way. They're good at clearing space so that everybody can be heard. And it's one of the things that makes arranging, especially for vocal arrangements, so potent. Because even though everybody has their own timbre and their own quality of voice production, their own sort of pronunciation of different syllables, things like that, voices are ultimately not dissimilar instruments. It's not like you've got, I don't know, a piccolo, a trumpet, and a double bass, which are three extremely different sound qualities. You might get that level of variation, but it will be in a narrower field because a voice is ultimately a voice. And you get occasional vocal production styles like subharmonics and things like that, and growl that Tim and Jeff do, for example. Whistle tones, you can sometimes get overtones. All these things that you can talk about, but it's rarer to get those extremes, and more often you get vocal production, which is not as sort of widely different. And so the fact that they're so good at clearing that space for each other and their guests is just marvelous.
They're gonna listen, forget everything. I said a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go, everybody get on the floor.
I love that we get a second there of Jainan, of course, as it says here, newest member since 2018. So he's been in the group now for, year and a half, 2 years? Endless creativity and laughter. I feel like that's everybody in VoicePlay. They're also, they're a very creative bunch, and they're always having so much fun in everything they do. Voice play. Again, that emphasis on play. But yeah, so they say newest member, but obviously he's well established by this point, but is still the newest.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go, everybody get on the floor.
So here, Scott Porter, Friday Night Lights, Heart of Dixie, The Good Wife, Altar Boys original off-Broadway cast, VoicePlay original. Oh, I have heard Scott mentioned. Right, this is back in the 425 days, and he's wearing a 425 shirt. I just caught that. Yeah, I've seen Scott's name mentioned on the VoicePlay Discord. So yes, this makes sense. And now we're bringing in other voices as well. And it's nice because we've met them, we know what they're doing, and so we can focus here on Scott providing vocal percussion.
3 and 4, let's go, everybody get on the floor.
I like that we get a couple of words mixed in as well. Note, Lane doesn't stop. The vocal percussion of the song is still going on, but Scott's able to bring it forward because, of course, he's doing something much more flashy than the rhythm that Lane's got set up. Also, I really like, oh goodness, so many people. Is this Darian? I think so. I really like the vocal line that Darian is producing over the top of this. It's a very simple kind of, like, each step is the same move. Da, 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 da. Like, down one, down another one, back up, then we go down again. And it's this same repeated pattern, and it lets Scott's vocal percussion take center stage, and he's the one who is clearly doing the solo at this point. But that doesn't mean we can't have something different happening above it, and that's a really nice choice too. Jeff Thatcher, rockapella, right, who was a massive inspiration to VoicePlay, recorded 425's first album. Nice! So again, another vocal percussionist here. Absolutely love what we're going to get here, so let's go with that. Interesting. So everyone's bringing something slightly different. Scott gets the like the kind of flashy, quick speed there, with the addition of kind of fitting in just and sing, almost like they are parts of the vocal percussion. Whereas what we're getting from Jeff here, more Jeffs. Okay, lots of Jeffs. It's a slightly deeper sound than Scott was producing. We're getting a bit more sort of deep reverberation, and we're also starting to add in effects as well. We get some sort of different percussive noises, as well as the sort of kit, for want of a better phrase, that is a vocal percussionist's sort of foundation arsenal. And now Lane gets his moment to shine. So he was there since the beginning. Ellie since 2010. Okay, this is also cool, because I'm kind of confirming when everybody joined the group. I've sort of seen it all written down, but never in one place, I don't think. And it's interesting, because we're getting something that da 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 da, which is the thing I was highlighting when VJ was singing that they were supporting. This time Ellie's actually got that same thing for himself a little bit. Even while we're getting Honey joining in the background, we can still hear something that has been established, and so the ear is still drawn to Ellie and Lane, even though Honey's providing something else really cool over the top. So even they're choosing to focus him here, even while, you know, he's not singing a super flashy solo, but he's still getting a moment to do something. I really like that. Oh yeah, and also the carrot for Lane, the Carrot Lord, of course. What Lane does always amaze, like, all three of those beatboxes amaze me, but Lane's versatility just never ceases to astonish. I love that break too. Let me hear you. Ooh. Straight back into something totally different. We don't get the sing we're expecting. All the backgrounds go, well, almost. It's not quite. It's black with a little bit of stuff going on. Just those kind of motes floating in the background. But I love that we break away into something audibly very different and visually very different as we introduce Jarrett here. Grammy Award winning, wow, sings with Bublé and takes 6. VP on Once Upon an Ever After album. Right, which I believe is audio only, which is why I haven't looked at it yet, because a lot of my analysis is visual as well. But that's awesome. I really want to listen to that at some point, because VoicePlay and Disney. So I will get to it at some point. Whether I'll do a reaction, I'm not quite sure yet, because there's so much in their visual catalogue. But I definitely want to listen to it, that's for sure. Anyway, back into it. I love vocal percussionists' visuals, what they do with their hand, like this. You can see what he's doing even as he's doing it. It was the same for the other two. They all have different styles. I think Lane's is quite flashy, his visual style, which kind of matches with the Theatre Kids of Acapella name very well. Sorry.
It's waiting for you already, you know.
I love the quality of Jarrett's voice there. There's a real soul to it. It brings us back down again. We've had a lot of flash, and there's nothing less stunning about his voice, but he grounds the arrangement again for a second, which is also kind of emphasized by the fact that having just had this very ridiculous and fancy vocal percussion thing from Lane drops away. Jeff drops away, we just get the three, JL and Ellie, supporting Jarrett, and it just becomes this very grounded moment before we pick back up again. Also, oh right, I never actually commented on what Honey was doing. Ah, right. I'm focusing on... There's so much to look at in this! But I love that she just comes in for that moment of punctuation. I was thinking it was more when I was talking about it a second ago before I focused on it. But it's a really nice little punch that doesn't... Again, it allows Ellie his space, given that that's his moment, along with Lane. But it just gives us... There's these moments of interest all over the place. Whether it's harmony from the guys, whether it's a soloist just coming in and doing something, whether it's a mixing technique. There's always something to listen to every second through this song.
It's waiting for you already, you know. You do it like nobody else.
Oh, what a great transition. We have this lovely soulful quieter moment, and then as Scott comes back in with this really powerful voice, great singer too, we get the firework imagery going up behind, and then Elizabeth just takes us into the stratosphere. As the fireworks start going off behind, we start peeling out into the entire group. Everything about this is brilliant.
No, you do it like nobody else.
Who was that? Was that Adriana? I think. No, it's Honey. No, it isn't. Who is it? I can't see who's just that. Ooh, what? Oh, hang on, is it Earl? I think it's Earl. Okay, I can't figure out who that is. I don't know what I'm not seeing. I can't see a mouth that is making the right movements to be producing that sound. I don't want to dwell on it for too long. I will make a note right here if I can identify when I'm editing who it is, because I want to draw attention to it because it's a really cool line. I just can't pick out who's actually singing it. But I love this coming together is stunning because we get this gradual pull out. It's not just like bam, everybody's center which would be kind of a bit too much all at once. It would make it hard to focus on anything. We can kind of pick out people as they come in, and it expands out to be the whole group. And it's just a really nice choice visually speaking, but I love how they have just integrated everybody here. It's still clear, we can still figure out everything everybody's doing, but every single person involved in this joins in all at once. It's really well done.
Oh, you do it like nobody else.
That's really nice. And then there's that lovely little drop. You can feel people pulling away as the screens start to disappear. The way that they pull everyone back out again is also really good. Because it's not necessarily an easy thing to do, especially when it's not 5 people who've just been loud, peeling back to the same 5 people being quieter. When it's 25 people, or however many that actually was, and suddenly only 5 are left, it can seem too bare if it's not handled right. Like, that drop away is extremely important. They do a really good job of that. And I think part of what it is it takes the group a second longer to fall off the note, and VoicePlay starts singing the next note before they do, and so you get this lovely crossfade. Like, it's a vocally created crossfade, which is when you've got 2 audio tracks. Oh goodness, doing this backwards is always really hard. This one's coming this way at full volume. This one's about to be here at full volume, but what you do is this actually starts down, so you get this lovely thing where this happens. No, which way am I going? I'm going this way. This happens, and you get this, where the two tracks switch the volume. So as one starts getting quieter, the other starts getting louder. So the 100% is kind of maintained, because when this one goes down to 75%, this one's already up to 25%. They've kind of done that trick. Not quite, but it's kind of in that realm, and that's what allows that drop to be so smooth.
Just sing, sing it together, louder than ever, ever. Forget everything, just sing.
And I love the choice to bring the kids back at the end, because they weren't in the rest of the video. I don't think they were in the big group. No, they're not. How many was it in the end? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 people. Down to 5, then back up to 7. So 24 people in the song as a whole, because the kids are there. And it's so lovely to have them coming back in again.
Ever, ever, forget everything, just sing.
That's beautiful. That's so lovely. It's such a great thing. Just get out there and do it. It's a lovely message in the song. It's a beautiful arrangement. They did such a good job of that. And to leave with this lovely quote, the only thing better than singing is more singing. It's a lovely quote, and for this feeling and for this moment, it's perfect. They did a really, really good job of this. I can see why folks love this so much, and wanted to hear what I had to say about it, because it's just great. I mean, I don't know why anybody ever wants to listen to what I have to say. My imposter syndrome is huge, but I understand why people want to see reactors reacting to videos. That was wonderful. Thank you to those who suggested this to me. And thank you if you're still here watching this with me. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to have your support and your encouragement. And, you know, please leave comments and let me know what you think. Fill in some of those blanks. I asked a lot of questions in this one because I met a lot of people I haven't seen yet in VoicePlay videos. So I'm looking forward to finding out more about them. Yeah, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell to find out when my videos are coming out, and if you'd like to, head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts to support the channel. If you put #MusicCares in your comment on Buy Me a Coffee, I will donate 50% of that donation to MusicCares. And also, please just go to musiccares.org and donate there. Do that instead of donating to me. It's such an important charity. You know, I love the support, but there are people out there who really, really need it. And while it helps me keep this going and keep this channel going, there are people out there it helps survive, and that is so much more important. So yeah, go to musiccares.org and you know, just give them a small gift. Even every little helps for organizations like that. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me on this very awesome journey. I really enjoyed watching that. It's really uplifting. I want to go back and listen to it again, and I'm sure I'll see 50 things I missed, because there was a lot going on in that video. But I hope I was able to bring something new to you, or just some enjoyment in watching someone else enjoy something you enjoy. Thank you so much again. I hope you have a very good morning, evening, afternoon, nighttime, twilight, whatever time it is you're watching this. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.